Welcome to the Millionaire Method.
The experiment!
Brought to you, this is a definite shameless plug for Belief Coding, brought to you by Belief Coding, sponsored by Belief Coding, the thing that will absolutely transform your life so you can implement the £1 million strategies. And this is exactly what this podcast is all about. How are you feeling?
I'm really nervous.
Gemma's been shaking like this 2 minutes ago.
I'm excited. I feel nervous now. We're like, this is real.
Yeah, this is
Do you know what I
real.
mean? This is like...
Do you know what I think though? I always remember listening to, who was it? Do you know Mr. Beast? Oh, this was it. It was Dr. Benjamin Hardy in his recent books, The Success of Scaling. And he talks about Mr. Beast. And Mr. Beast posted a video on his YouTube as if he was his future self from a few years ago. And he said, if I haven't got to this many subscribers, what's the point? And then literally by the time that video aired, because he'd scheduled it at that date, he'd got like 10 times the amount of followers.
Wow.
And subscribers. Yeah, this is what you're going to be like. So, oh my God, do you know what this means?
What?
You're not going to make $1 million in the next 6 to 12 months. You're going to make 10 million.
I feel like I'm a multi-millionaire.
You are right. Should we let everyone know? Should we tell them the origin story, how we met and how this came about?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to let you tell the story. So
it's the most bizarre story, but it's beautiful at the same time, isn't it?
Yeah. And was it 3 years ago?
It's nearly 4.
Oh my God, it's 4 in February, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's start. So the craziest thing happened this February. Gemma was supposed to come with me, my sister, and my friend Jess to Vegas for a Funnel Hacking Live conference. And this will lead into your actual story so people just understand how, number one, amazing you are. But number two, if you can do it and I can do it, they can do it. And I think this is what we want this podcast to be about. We want you to know that you literally have everything from within you to reach the lengths of your life that you want to swim to. I mean, that's a terrible analogy. I'm going. So let's go right back to the beginning. So when we met 3 years ago, so share the story.
So we first met... I was going on one of your retreats. I seen an advert and I was at my absolute lowest and I was like asking for signs, and it just after my mum had passed away, and obviously I dealt with looking after my dad previous to that before he passed away, and I was just like, I need something. Like, I know for a fact I cannot cope like this. I was scared. Anyway, I asked for a sign, and then the next thing I seen an advertisement for your retreat.
Yeah.
And then I just didn't even think I was going to make it because I was like, oh my God, I couldn't even afford it. Do you remember? And I messaged
Yeah, you did 2 payments. I was like, look.
Hey, I'm really embarrassed, but I'm really embarrassed.
Oh, right. So this statement, we'll go into I'm really embarrassed in episode 2 next week, but just keep that in the forefront of your mind. But what was really interesting, so Gemma, she couldn't afford to come on the retreat. I was like, look, if you're supposed to be, and you said that you feel like you're supposed to be there.
Yeah.
I was like, well, if you feel you're supposed to be there, just come, we'll sort the payment out later. So Gem came on this retreat, and you can imagine, so it's myself and my friend Leanne Brown, we were hosting the retreat. There's like 15 other women coming there. And then on this WhatsApp group, we get these, someone keeps calling me. You called me, didn't you? Oh, no, it was on the WhatsApp group.
It's in the WhatsApp group.
So Gemma on the WhatsApp group sends this message.
Hey guys, don't think I'm going to make it. My car's broke down. Like, I've never experienced anything like it. My tyre just went, poof. It was like a gunshot. And it was like the smallest, tiniest country roads, only one car at a time could go down. Pitch black. I'm like, I don't freaking believe it. I'm not supposed to be going on this trip. I feel well out of place. I'm like, I don't know anyone. Yeah. So I wrote in the WhatsApp group saying, hey guys, I don't think I'm going to make it. My car's broke down. I don't have a clue where I am. I'm in this little lay-by. And I was already 3 hours late.
Were you 3 hours late?
I was 3 hours late.
That means that I'd been at the retreat, then I'd come back and got you, didn't I? Or was I running late?
No, you was late.
Oh, I was late too. Nothing new there.
You were super late, yeah. But then you just rang me and said, where are you? And I was like, I actually don't know. And you went, no, I think I'm behind you.
Yeah.
It was the most bizarre thing.
The best thing was actually, so you'd broke down a little bit and she'd broke down outside this guy's house. This guy, like, totally ropey as anything. She's like, hey, he's fit him into. I was thinking, are you blind, girl? What is going on? She needs to go on this retreat. I'm taking her with me.
It was pitch black. And then when he turned the light on, I was like, maybe not.
But the interesting thing is, like, literally, we were in that car for about 2 hours just talking. yeah, just talking and you just sharing loads of stuff. Anyway, we got to the retreat, and then since then, like the friendship only really started to blossom, I would say, over the past 18 months, hasn't it? Like 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, but when you meet somebody and you know there's something about them, that's how I felt with you. Like I knew there was just something. And anyway, the retreat was a whole other story, but
bearing in mind though, when you was in the car, I actually had no idea. I didn't know about belief coding, didn't know. I seen a self-love retreat. I didn't have a clue what I needed to learn how to do self-love. Like I didn't know anything, or didn't know. And then I was chatting with you, just thinking, you know, everyday people sharing our bag of crisps with you and stuff, digging our hands in. Yeah. And then I got to the retreat and everyone's like, screaming at you. And I was like, who are you? And then the rest is history, isn't it?
Yeah. So then let's go into your story, because I think Gemma's story, like literally the first time she probably told it me was about 6-7 months ago. And then she went fully into her full story when we were in America just a few weeks ago. And when I say, if you sat at home in your pity party thinking you can't do stuff because of your circumstances, Gemma is the absolute epitome. Is that the right word? Epitome. Is it the right word? Epitome. Yeah, thank God you can keep that bit in. Is the epitome of, if she can do it, you can do it, because this girl sat in front of me has been through more in 40 years than 10 people would go through in a lifetime. And when you tell your story, you can tell you're feeling really awkward, but when you tell your story, you don't even realise how much you've overcome and just how amazingly special you are, which leads us into the mission and why I feel that we're supposed to be doing this and why it was downloaded to do the Millionaire Method with you. So, share your story.
Where do I start?
The year you were born, Gem.
It's so awkward. Do you know what's weird though? When we was going to, said this to you, didn't I? When we was going to Vegas, and I had to go. Why don't you
start at Vegas then? Because Vegas will kind of unravel. Like, so we both believe in things always happen the way they're supposed to happen.
Yeah.
So Gemma was supposed to come to Vegas with us in February, and then tell the story.
I was supposed to go to Vegas, but obviously...
was your visa?
My visa, yeah. Couldn't get the visa, and I had a criminal record. I mean, the last thing was over 10 years ago, so I didn't think it'd affect me. And then I've had to go for an interview in London regarding the visa. And as soon as they just took one look at my record, regardless that it was over 10 years ago when I was last in trouble, they told me I had to go for a psychiatric assessment. Yeah. And I was just mortified. But that was when I first ever told my story to a stranger from start to finish, because she wanted to know everything. I went from how old? She went from the start. Yeah. It's like, why would this matter? But it was a deep thing. But then obviously that was when I realised what I'd overcome, because I'd never said it out loud.
And you'd never seen it, whereas you literally saw it there in front of you. So just start from when you were little, like your childhood.
So I think
you do realise I'm going to bulge you to get everything out.
Yeah, both
so
my parents. So I don't think the drinking was as bad. It was a drinking household, very violent. My dad was used to beat my mum up, and it was just just a crazy bit of a household. But then when I was 4 years old, mum and dad split up, and that's when really all the problems started, because he would come back, and then if my mum had been with someone else or she was drinking heavily, he'd then beat her up, and then there was fights in the house. There was always men fighting in the house. It was just honestly, it was just like chaos. But when it's all you know, I don't know, it was like the norm. Do you know, that was all we knew. But the first time, that was what happened in a belief coding session the other day when I was saying I was 4 years old at the top of the stairs, because that was the first time that I witnessed my dad put my mum's head through a glass panel and I weed myself at the top of the stairs. But that's the first time that I really felt fear at such a young age. And then it's almost like you just get so used to it. But then my brother and sister ended up, it's very hard to. So they both ended up getting taken away from my mum because.
And do you want to share why? And then, so there was 3 of you, your sister, your brother.
Yeah. So my mum ended up getting with another partner after my dad, and he was a.
Are you okay to share?
Yeah. I mean, is he called a pimp? He owned escorts. Yeah, he had his own escort service and had lots of women on his books, which obviously my mum ended up then being an escort, but I didn't know at the time. So he was encouraged my mum to be drinking and to be taking all sorts. She was completely out of it all of the time. And us kids were wild, really. But my sister kind of had to bring me up, like make sure I'd get to school. I walked to school on my own from a very early age, and I lived miles away from the school. So I was dead streetwise and just had to fend for ourselves a little bit. And then my brother, because he was so strict, that my mum's husband, my brother was terrified to get up in the middle of the night because he'd get shouted at, and it was a habit for him to wee in his bedroom in a little lunchbox in the corner.
This story makes me feel so sad.
Yeah, and he got caught. So they found like he'd been weeing in his bed or whatever, and he wanted. So my mum's partner then, Tony, he got me and my sister, made my mum get me and my sister, and we had to all be in the bedroom, and Tony was gonna show us what punishment is, and he got a leather belt, and he just absolutely that's the one thing that through my childhood that I remember the most. So from the back of his neck, every whip that he was whipping him, my brother was like, oh, it was horrible, and me and my sister had to just sit there and stand there at the door and watch it, and I'd weed myself again. I used to, like, it was horrible. My mum was just like stood there in a daze. And then after he'd done it.
What did your mum do?
It was so bizarre. I don't know. She was just like watching it, and then at the end he made her do it. So then he said to my mum, "Now you do it." And then he went back over all his where he'd already been read Rory's back was. It was horrible. I think he was only 11. He was in year 7 at high school.
And that's when your brother got taken off.
I never seen him again then. He went to school, and I think he's gone to do PE, and someone's seen all his marks, and I never seen him again. So and I loved my big brother, like it was, imagine watching him go through that and then never seeing him again. My head must have been like, what the
How old were you, Jem?
I was terrified. I'd have been 6 then.
Wow. And then, so at this point now, there's just you and your sister left with your mum and Tony, and then share the story of how your sister then got taken off your mum.
So my sister, I think it's sad really, because there was lots of things that happened to her, because then she was in charge because my mum was always so wasted. And I think he was like grooming her to be ready to be an escort. Prostitution, yeah. And my mum was just totally out of it all the time. So Tracy would run away. She would always like leave the house.
Did she actually get into prostitution?
No.
Do you know? No.
No, I don't think she did. No, I definitely know she didn't, because she struggled with her own mental health afterwards. But that's what she never forgave my mum for, because my mum knew about it and knew what he was trying to do. So she was just running away all the time, and then she was getting in trouble. My mum was quite violent towards us, so it was like a difficult, because then she'd run away and then she'd get beaten up, and it was just like crazy all the time. And yeah, again, she went to school and never came home. Like I don't really know
Do you know, I'm wondering, something's just come to me, because I think we've not worked on this during belief coding, about something you love getting taken from you and never coming back.
Yeah.
That's just coming to my head.
I know.
But so then at this point, so your sister's now gone, and then there's literally just you, your mum and Tony, and I think this is really when you're sort of the biggest catalyst of chaos kind of came from, right?
Yeah. So this is like,
I mean, the story is so far, like, how old were you when your sister got taken?
So it was about 7, a year after my brother.
So in the first 7 years of your life,
yeah.
Look what already's happened.
Yeah.
And that's not even the worst.
I think the worst was the time when it was just me and my mum, because then she'd realised she'd had both her kids taken. She obviously knew what this guy's doing, and she was just, it was horrendous, to be honest, because he was never there, and then he'd just show up and he'd just like turn up, and it was just awful. And he'd leave her with no money. So then she was having to do it from the house. So I was seeing different men coming in and out the house all the time. Like sometimes I would be like, "You haven't paid my mum." "Oh, you haven't paid my mum." Like it was so bizarre, but it was my norm.
How old were you then?
I was 8.
8. Oh my God. So literally, because I remember you telling me the story that you'd be like chasing the blokes down the street, like, "Yeah, bitch, come back and pay."
I was all right. Look, I weren't feared of it. Nothing feared me. I don't know.
Well, if you think about it, though, look how much fear you've already been subject to. So things like that are not going to scare you, because you've literally felt real fear.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was just a difficult time. My mum was completely like, she would be not sleeping. She would go on like drinking binges for days. And we did a belief coding session last week, and that memory when I was 8, she was absolutely off a cake one night, and she was like, I can't get them, get them. She's screaming. And imagine like watching your mum like that. There was nothing there. She was hallucinating that there were frogs everywhere. Wow. And it's like, so I spent the whole night getting rid of these frogs, and she's going, there. I was going, where, Mum, I got it. And then throwing them out the window, and just kept doing it. I must have been doing it for hours.
There was no frogs.
There was no frogs. It was everywhere, and I was like, I've got one, but it became like a game, and I was like, where any more, Mum? You know, like it's like I was so used to it. It was just so bizarre when I look back and I think, wow. I went to school the next day. I don't think I slept all that night. I went to school the next day. You know, like normal kids are like, oh, what did you do?
Caught some frogs last night. Invisible frogs.
But she never remembered stuff like that. And then she was always trying to escape, and she'd take me on these wild, she'd get in the car and she'd be drunk, and we'd go into the Lake Districts, and I remember going up these massive steep hills, and the drink's wearing off, or she'd pull over and get more drink, and it was just like, it was pure fear all the time, but almost like I was just so used to it.
And so from that then, do you want to go into the story how you got then taken off your mum and into foster care, and what happened just before that?
Yeah, so my mum was obviously trying to escape again, and she was like told from Tony, yeah. And she packed our little cases, and she said, we're going on a trip. But I was so used to that because she'd go away for the weekend, and there was so many times that she was trying to escape. Anyway, she was we drove to the airport. So now I'd be like 9. No, I was still 8, I think. I was 8 or 9. And she drove to the airport. We got to the airport, and we just remember as a kid trying to keep up with her. You know, she was erratic and like going through all the shops, and he was following her. So he'd found out that she was going to the airport, and he was following her. So she was like, come on. But she was really aggressive, like angry with me because I weren't keeping up. And because I was so scared of all the things that she'd done when we'd been to other places, and there was men in the room when I'm in the room with her, and I was scared. So I was like, Mum, just wait,
just going into that, so you would go to the Lake District, she'd meet people who she didn't know, and then she'd come back and have sex with them while you were there.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell.
Often in the bed.
Yeah. Oh, Jem.
But yeah, so I was scared, and I just thought, I only seen the good in Tony because he always made out, your mum's crazy, your mum's drinking all the time. Yeah. He made out as if he was a carer, like he's the one that cared. And I don't know what it was, but I knew that he was following us. And then I think I tried to be as slow as I could because I wanted him.
I wanted to save you.
Yeah. And then she must have just got so, she just I can only imagine what that must have been, what she'd gone through. I spoke to my auntie about it now, and he was like my auntie's even said, imagine what your mum must have, what that
she
must have
been
been
an
like.
Absolute fear state.
Getting on that plane knowing that she'd just left a little girl.
We haven't even gone to that part.
Oh.
So yeah.
So yeah, she literally continued she just told me to wait outside the toilets, and she won't be long. And then that was it. The next thing, the police have come over to me, and I don't even know how long I waited there. It was just so bizarre. And she'd got on a flight, and she Tony had then came and completely said, my mum's crazy, she's just tried to take her. And obviously I'm a child, and I'm like,
how old were you then?
This is 8. And I just needed to feel safe. So I was like, I agreed with everything he said. The police are like, is this your stepdad? I was like, yeah. And then that was it. So then I moved in with Tony. He moved into a different house, like far away from my family. And
this is the thing as well, right? So when you're telling me the story of Tony, I had this real perception of this like really sort of like rough and ready character, like living in, but you actually lived in a really affluent area in a beautiful house with horses. Yeah. Right. But the story behind those doors was so different.
Yeah.
So what happened then when you got back for the 2 years before you got taken into foster care?
So
how did
he just completely neglected me. I think he only took me because it was payback for my mum, but he was just completely, we didn't even have conversations.
And what would you have every night for your tea?
So, pea soup, like mushy peas and bread. But I loved it. But my friend came. So Amy, who's my foster sister, she came, and I didn't know that was like. It was the norm for me because I enjoyed it. Do you know what I mean? And Amy's come for tea, and she's gone home and said to her mum, who's Bev, who's my foster parent, and said, Gemma had peas for peas. Mushy peas for
Mushy peas for a tea and a tea.
Oh, banana. She said that we had banana soup, but I don't think we had banana soup. But it wouldn't. There was never any kids stuff in like it. And when you'd come, I had no.
Did he have women coming back as well, or like? So did he have the escorts coming back, or was it literally just you and him?
Just me and him, but then at the night time I would have to go in my room, and I was that scared to. Bearing in mind, I watched what he did to my brother, so anything that he said, I was doing it. So if he in my bedroom,
I was going to make a sick joke that maybe I should try that with my kids. They don't do anything. They do this like whatever, mum. Like,
yeah, no, I definitely anything that he said I did, and I'd go to my room very early. I think. Like sit in my room, but I didn't have toys or anything, so I can't even remember what I'd be doing. And it was a sad time because I missed my mum. I didn't know what has happened. My brother, I'd watch. You
wouldn't even know. You'd be thinking,
my mum go.
Well, like even like imagine that as like an 8-year-old girl, little girl. Oh, it makes me feel really sad even just thinking about it. You literally, you wouldn't know if your mum was dead, if she was alive, if she was coming back, like all the beliefs she would have created in that moment. I'm unlovable. Oh, it's just like proper. What happened? Because I remember you saying that Tony used to take you away, and you were that scared that he was going to do something. How like, and this kind of just shows the grit and the survival instinct within you.
I feel a bit sick actually. Yeah, so Tony would take me on like weekends away. Well, would go and stay in hotels. I'm assuming that must be where he met some of the escorts and sorted money or whatever. But again, there was not really much conversation. But I knew that something wasn't right, and I was scared of him. I was really scared of him. But he was the only person that was my safe place. So it was almost like in my head, I felt like he was gonna do something to me. So I kept having to say, "You're the best daddy. Can't believe you look after me." Like, because I knew that I thought that if I completely keep saying how much I love him and I'd kept saying the word dad, then he wasn't going to do something to me, because that's how it felt like in the bedroom and with stuff like he'd watch me undress and stuff, and I'd just like
He'd watch you undress?
Well, we'd share a bedroom in a hotel.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know he watched you undress.
Well, he was there, yeah. So I just used to make it like, "You're the best daddy. Can't believe my mum. I hate my mum." You know, like I'd say everything that I think he would wanted me to say. So if I'm nice to him, then he might not want to
do stuff
or hurt me.
And then I think this ties into what happened when you were 10, like literally with the bedroom and the watch.
Yeah. So it was maybe he I don't know if he was priming me or if he wanted me to, because it was still to this day, it just puzzles me why he did that. But yeah, I'd never, ever, ever seen his bedroom, ever. And one day he just said to me, "Gemma, will you go and get my watch out my bedroom?" And I was like, "Your watch?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's on my bed." And then when I went in his bedroom, there was just like hundreds of pictures spread all over his bed. Like he'd placed them all next to each other. And like the first one, they were young, the girls, and the first one.
How old were they?
I don't know. I'd say they'd have been about 20, but for me, they weren't fully adults. Do you know? Like I was looking at young girls in pictures, naked.
Were they photographs or were they images from like a porn magazine?
No, photographs.
Wow, so they've actually been taking them.
Yeah. And one of them, there was one of a girl with a banana in her hand, and on the back of that it said, "Tony only done this for money." Wow. So I was like, literally, he'd sent me in there knowing full well that I was going to see all them, but I still had to go down with his watch, and I still had to like face him.
And when was this then? Because was this just before you went to school?
This was in year 6, yeah.
So when this happened though, was this literally just before you'd actually gone into school? Because then, was it like in the evening or?
I think it was in the evening.
And then the next day you went into school?
The next day I went into school, and then, yeah, I never went home again.
Yeah, so share that. So you went in, you told your best friend. Your best friend told, honestly, I feel like crying. I think so. Just know like just how amazing you are. And then your best friend told her mum, and then she just took you, right?
Yeah. Well, they made me tell the teachers in school, and they wasn't actually they wasn't going to foster me. They just said, "We'll take her for now, because she's where we know she's safe and she's got a friend, and yeah, and they took me in, but again,
I mean, you don't both from this. This is the comfort.
I know. Because that came up again in the belief coding session, that I remember the conversation of them like saying, well, why is no one coming for this child? You know, they weren't being mean. They wasn't meant to foster me. Like, they was just looking after the daughter's friend till she got a safe place. And then I remember them conversations, and I just remember that fear of being like, what's going to happen to me now? Like, my mum's gone, my brother's gone, my sister's gone, everyone, like, it was so bizarre.
I think as well what we'll do when we go into episode 2, where we go through all the beliefs that were created there, it'll make so much sense to everyone that's listening to this, because you've got so many associations with money, with love, with safety, with security. But what I want to go into now, because bearing in mind you're only 10 years old at this point, so like life so far in the first 10 years, you've really had to learn how to survive. What happened then? So like that's one area of your life. And then tell us about when you were 16, when you met your first boyfriend, your second boyfriend, and that led you up to the point of meeting me in the car.
Yeah.
By the way, the second half of this podcast is going to be really funny.
I know, it's a bit deep, this, Jesus. So I had they did the best they could. My foster parents were amazing, and I had a really nice, like, they tried the best. We went on holidays, you know, I'd had my first holiday, it was amazing. Like, there was so many lovely things, but I was very messed up. Like, I was mean to Amy. I ended up bullying Amy and beating her up, you know, fighting a lot. And I was mean to Bev. And
it's all you've seen.
I was lashing out all the time, yeah. I think Bev said when Nick was a baby, so he was 2 when I got fostered, my foster brother, and she said I just went and bit his cheek. Like, I bit him. Like, can you imagine just going up to a baby and biting him?
It makes you feel better. I did that with my nephew because he was so cute. I got his feet in my mouth. I was like, yes, okay. I was like, I've just bit his toe.
I think I would have done that. I can't imagine, but she was like, yeah, even then, like, it was
and
hard.
He had a big chunk out of his cheek and he's scarred for life.
It was hard. Amy left home. She literally went and lived with her grandma because she couldn't live with me because I was that bad. And then I remember all Bev's family was like, "Why are you keeping this girl? She's crazy." And Bev's like, "I can't give her up. Like, everyone's let her down. She's got no one." So it was a big thing. So yeah, Amy had about 6 months where she didn't even live at home.
Wow.
And then 16, so social services then are your legal guardians, and they put you up in accommodation then at 16, and they literally pay for you to get into like a flat. They give you money to do it up. They sell you a dream that, you know, this is your independent living and everything else. Oh, it was horrendous. Like 16 years old, and then I'm back in a flat and I'm on my own, and I was like, wow.
I think, like, when you told me that, when I think like my Poppy's 14 and she's still such like a young 14, and in 2 years she'll be 16, and I can't even comprehend that, you know?
Yeah, well, it wasn't great. Wasn't great at all, but I was excited because I had money. They'd give me money to do my flat up, and I could pick my own bed in, and there was bits that was nice, and then when you're on your own, you're like, they were my real dark days. And
you would get jobs, wouldn't you, from then, and then you would drink, and you'd lose the jobs and everything.
My drinking was just horrendous at that, because well, probably from about 14 I was drinking, but yeah, 16 they put me in a counsellor state. And I had an ASBO within the first year, like a antisocial, like, because I just kept having, people wouldn't knew that I was on my own, kept having people round, crazy parties. It was like all old people in my block of flats, and like partying all the time, and yeah, it was madness. But then there were trauma bonds as well, because totally. I'd hang around with crazy people because I thought I was crazy. Like, my life had just been so freaking.
And then, so from that, let's fast forward to Christian.
Like, yeah, that was like.
Was that the worst part of your life?
The worst part of my life, yeah. Ever. Like.
How old were you when you met Christian?
35.
35? No, you're 40 now. 30.
So 10 years ago, yeah.
Wow. And how long did you go with him for?
2 years.
So 2 years.
Oh,
So
I feel
this
sick even thinking about it.
it's all part of the healing that triggers the opportunity for.
But I had a few of them relationships where my relationships were terrible and there was bullies. Like I had 2 very normal relationships, but when
And that was
they were
with,
normal.
So one of the normal ones was with Daisy's dad.
Daisy's dad and my first love, Dave.
Yeah, Dave.
The
net Dave.
But I think I sabotaged them because there was too normal for me.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's interesting actually because I remember going out with some really nice boys when I was younger, but because they were too nice, I was like, oh God, boning. And like literally they were, and like now Alex is just like the nicest person. I actually met Alex like 10 years before we actually got together, but he was too nice for me. And isn't that crazy? Like, and so many women and girls listening to this will be able to resonate with that. You know, we go out with these idiots and these plonkers because that's all we know. That's all we feel worthy of. So what I want to go into, like, so at the time you met Christian, just go into who Christian is. How old was Daisy when you met him?
Should have been 8.
8. Oh my God, isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Oh, that's weird.
So just share the story about Christian.
So I met Christian online. Didn't know anything about him. Met him online. Do you know, like,
I love what he said. Yeah, I get it. But it's been that. Met him online. It does literally sound like the start of a freaking horror story.
I met him online. He was worked on the rigs. He had profile pictures of him and his beautiful kids. Yeah. He was very, very charming. Yeah. He started messaging me through a Snapchat ad, and I don't even know how he got my details or anything. And then we knew, obviously, he lived in the same area. Well, not near me, but he lived in Blackpool. So there was people that we knew and the conversations were just flowing. And then he said, I'm home in 3 weeks. Can I take you out? And that was it. He never...
when he first took you out, that's literally within a very short space of time, he'd moved in with you,
He never went. Like, he literally took me out, stayed at my house that night, and then that was it. Then he'd go back on the rigs, and then he'd come home, and then he'd stay for the whole week at mine, and then he'd go back on the rigs. Before you know it, we're in a relationship and he's moved in.
And when was the first time that the abuse started? The violence? I'll
be honest with you, it's probably very, very early on, but because of my drinking, he would then blame it on that and say, I'd have blackouts, I'd forget what happened, and then I'd just believe that he's saying, because I knew that I was, I had really bad mental health, and I think he knew that. And then he'd play on that and say, you did this last night. And I couldn't remember it. I never could remember anything. But he would like literally just feed me. Like, it was like history repeating itself. It was definitely like history repeating itself. He would bring bottles of red wine as well, because it'd get me absolutely smashed. And we'd have like 3 or 4 bottles of wine. I was just blacking out.
And then he would beat you up and then he would rape you.
Yeah.
This is like an awkward laugh.
You did that. So the worst time, he beat me up one time. Yeah, that was horrendous. And he'd smashed a bottle of vodka off the telly in my bedroom. And then, he made me have sex with him.
With all the broken glass there?
With all the broken glass. I'd just been beaten up. Yeah, I was covered in... I ran out my house with just a coat. Like, I grabbed a coat at the bottom of the stairs and ran out my house screaming in my street. And I think because of my drinking and because of the way I was, people just thought I was crazy. Like, no one would believe anything because I was crazy. I'd done so many crazy things. I used to bloody get arrested all the time. I'd wake up in the police cells and ring the bell, asking what I'd done.
And I think this is the thing, and this is, again, the reason I want to do this and you want to do this. When you think about kids that go through what you went through, young women who were in the situation that you were in, but they don't, because everything felt so normal for you, you just believed there must be something wrong with me. I'm crazy. But actually, when you have the context, I don't think so much, but when you have the context to all those things, like the viewers, the listeners listening to this will totally get it, because you can't, they'll totally get it. I love you. I've got proper tears.
Yeah, it was just a difficult time, and he nearly killed me. Like he'd never do it when Daisy was there. Again, it was like what Tony was like with us kids. He was so beautiful to Daisy, and then he would tell Daisy, "Your mum's crazy. Wow. I'm looking after you because she's drunk or she's." It was exactly like it. And then we went to Egypt one time, and he beat me up that bad. My head was like a square. It wasn't round anymore.
Did he break your jaw?
He bit my ear. Daisy's dad it was awful because I'd have to go to pick Daisy up, and Daisy's dad, Wayne, was like, what the hell is happening to you, Gem? I'd have black eyes. My ear was like a cauliflower. In Egypt, I was a mess. He took me to the doctors after 3 days. I was concussion. I couldn't even get out of the bed for the first 3 days. But he took me to the doctors and said that I was a professional boxer and I needed something to take this swelling down. But
it's not even funny. Like,
he was
it's
so
not even funny,
normal with it. I said, "What would you have done if
do you think the doctors believed him, or do you think like what that? Do you know what I mean? Like, she's professional.
No idea, but they didn't question it, and they did give us tablets. I had like 3 lots of tablets. But I said to him, I said, "What would you need? You could have killed me. Like, I couldn't pick my head up I couldn't sit up for the first couple of days." I said, "What would you have done if you'd have killed me?" He said, "I just throw myself off the balcony." Like, it was okay. Like, he was a complete psychopath. But there were so many times that when he was going through them episodes that he'd be in hospital. And I got so many warnings. Yeah. Like, the hospital said to me, he's got paranoid schizophrenia. Well, you know that, don't you?
And actually now, so what you found out now is actually he's in prison because he
went on to do it to another girl, a young girl, 16-year-old. No, so he's not in prison now. So there was someone just died recently in a hotel.
She killed herself.
She killed herself, and he was in the hotel room with her. They'd had a drug-fueled weekend, which I can only imagine what he's made her feel like. And then after me, he started going out with a 16-year-old and did exactly the same turn. I went to the parents and I was like, "Listen, your daughter is 16 years old. Like, look at the time, this scar on my head was really quite a deep one. And I was like, look at me. Like, I nearly died. Like, you need to protect your daughter." And she just thought I was a crazy ex. Christine had said I was a crazy ex. I'm trying to get back with him. I'm trying to ruin everything for him. And I was like...
And then with this then, so the go into what made you finally leave, because I think one thing that you've discussed with me is, you're like, why did I stay? I was stupid for staying, but like, that's your norm because that's all you experienced growing up. So anything out of that, anything out of, you know, a disruptive love, anything out of chaos would have felt so uncomfortable to you because you never experienced or witnessed that. And I think when you get your head around that, which I know we have done during some belief coding sessions, you see it. But so many women who are going through that, they'll be saying the same thing, like, why can't I get out? And it's simply because...
so hard, yeah. I've always thought I'm a really strong character. Like, if someone else was going through that, I'd be like, oh my God. But when you're actually in it, you absolutely feel
you're hypnotised. You're kind of...
You feel so worthless. Like, your family... I didn't speak to my family. I thought it was me. Like, I'm completely crazy. That's like literally what I thought all the time, because it's all he would say, or a lot of people thought that.
So go into why you left then, like the actual, the thing that made you leave for good. Because you were always on and off, right?
We was always on and off. Well, after that time, the police were begging me. They would ring me every day to press charges, and I just was that scared because it meant Daisy would have had to stand up in court. Because the last time he did it was Daisy was there and witnessed it.
So share, I mean, this is just horrific. So share like what he actually did with the settee.
So he'd dragged me down the stairs from my hair.
And this is the first time Daisy had actually seen this, right?
Yeah. And then he whacked my head off the dining room table, and I was like knocked out. And then he dragged me to the couch and put my head underneath the seat, the cushion of the couch, and then sat on it. And I literally, like, I had blood going in my eyeballs. Like, I was ready to give in. And then I just heard Daisy's little voice. I feel well emotional even thinking it. I just heard Daisy's little voice saying, "Get off my mummy."
8. Wow.
No, it's making me sad.
How long did you go out with him for then?
I will have met him when... Yeah, Daisy was about 6 or 7. She was 8. She was year 5 at high school.
Year 5. So she would.
Because then 10. Year 6, she struggled. Then she was like self-harmed, like started doing stuff to herself, which was absolutely distraught.
But when you look at her now, like, she is just such an amazing, like, well-balanced, beautiful,
so
like,
lucky.
Really strong, independent, happy child, right?
Yeah, she's amazing. I'm so lucky. But then that was my final. That was it. Once Daisy had witnessed that, I was like, something has to change. Like, this is it.
And then when we go there, so you've left Christian now. you start to kind of get your life back on track, but you're suffering with spells of depression, but your mum would also come back into your life. So I think people need to understand kind of.
I'm at university still trying to do my degree. I met Christian while I'd just started university and I was doing a 3-year degree.
Wow.
So while all that was happening, I was still still at uni. So I had a year left. And that was very hard because they kept saying, please don't they come to my house, the teachers, and would know what was going on because they'd always see me going in with black eyes and stuff. And then I had community service in Bernardo's, because I got done for. He set himself on fire one night, and I was literally panicking.
He set himself. You did tell me this.
He set himself, set himself on fire, and I'd obviously panicked and got in my car. And when I'd got there, I'd been drinking, and
you got caught for drink. Did he not ring the police on you?
I don't know if he'd rang the police or no, because he'd set himself on fire. But the police, there was hundreds of fire. There was everyone outside the house.
Yeah.
And then they've said, "Do you know him? What's his name?" He's just ran out the house, and I was going, "Is he okay? Is he okay?" And he said, "Tell me his name." And then I've just got back in my car. Well, they've got my reg, and by the time I've got back, they've come. They've arrested me and. So I got community service for that. So I was now doing
Asbo community service.
I was now doing 300 hours in Bernardo's while trying to be a single parent, getting over my mental health and what's just gone on, and trying to do my degree. It was like freaking hell.
And then as well, so in this stage as well, we'll touch upon so towards your mum and your dad passing, you actually had to then, when you've gone through all of this, you ended up being your dad's carer.
Right,
I'm laughing because some of the stories you've told me about.
Couldn't even write. I'd not spoke to my dad for years, and then he gets in touch and
how
tells
many
me.
Years?
I'd see my dad when I was even a young kid. I'd see my dad, and he'd give me £1 and say, "I love." He weren't very good at being a dad. Yeah. He was just a gambler, a drinker, and a womanizer. That's what he did.
Yeah.
So I never really had a decent relationship with him.
Yeah. And you've not seen him for how many years?
I'd not seen him for about bloody 10 years or something.
And then he rings you up. It's not. This is definitely not funny. But the way you tell the story, or the way you told me, it's like.
You can't write it. Contacts me telling me he's got cancer. And he doesn't know how long he's got to live. And I'm like, oh my God, Dad. You're on your own. Let me help you.
It's definitely not. It's
not even funny. Well, he took the piss out of me. I'd go round, he'd have his feet up like that so I can hoover under his legs. And he bloody lasted another 18 months after that. So he was poorly, but then he was having his throat out. He was having cancer removed from his throat. And then after that, I became his full-time carer. And he was just horrendous because obviously his frustration of not being able to talk, and he had like a bit of an OCD kind of thing because he's obviously prison life or whatever. They like everything a certain way. And if I wasn't able to do it to his standards, he was just getting really angry and it was horrendous. Then all my memories of what he was like with my mum started coming back, and my relationship with my mum, because my mum knew I was helping my dad who was dying. My mum wanted to be there for me and be support for me.
And you'd really reconciled everything to do with your mum, hadn't you? We'll touch upon that over the next coming episodes. But with that then, so after your dad passed, then what happened?
So my dad passed. Me and my mum just started building a lovely relationship. Life's too short. She'd missed out on so much. We started, she was talking about my past and what she'd put us through and the regrets. And she just said, like, what your dad put me through, I could never get over that. And that was when the mental health was the worst. And it was a nice bonding time for us to have all this. And then she told me that she didn't want to tell me when my dad was here, but she's got cancer. I was like, freaking hell. Come on. So she had cancer, lung cancer. She said, but don't worry about it. If it's not fixed, if it's not broke, don't fix it. It's fine. He said, it's the size of a 50p and it's not growing. I was like, Mum, I can't watch you go through what I watched my dad go through was horrendous, like horrendous. I said, I can't watch you go through that. If there's a chance that you can get it taken, removed, why would you not get it removed? She's like, no, I've always been one of them. If it's not broke, you don't fix it. Like, what is that saying?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I pretty much begged her to go and get this bloody operation done. It was the healthiest she'd ever been. I've got her on Herbalife. I was doing little workouts. I've got a little video on my phone of her and Daisy doing a workout. The best she's ever been. She was taking Daisy out. You listened to that voice, didn't you? To go into the park. She was taking Daisy.
Hey, baby. It's mummy.
She bet the healthiest she's ever been. She was so proud of herself. She's like, Gem, I've done 3 weeks now, no drink. And, she was healthy. And then the night before hospital, she was asked me to lend an overnight bag. And I was taking her to the hospital and I was picking her back up. I said, don't worry about everything, Mum, you'll be fine. It's a day operation. And I'll see you tomorrow. I dropped her off at the hospital, give her a kiss.
And she never came back.
She never came
Same
back.
pattern of your brother and your sister. Wow. And then about 6 months after that, that's when we met, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
I was like begging, like I thought there's no way that I can, this was horrendous. But in the meantime, I tried to take my own life before that. Like everything was too much and I drank a full bottle of morphine.
But this is the thing, right? So this is how I know that you are 100 million% supposed to be here. The mission that you have is supposed to happen. Because you cannot, and I mean you absolutely cannot go through all of that and come this far just to come this far. Like you cannot do it. So this is, and this is the story that you had to tell the ladies when you were having the psychiatric evaluation before we went to Vegas. But what's really interesting, you didn't end up coming to Vegas and me and my sister and just like, come on, Gemma, we're manifesting it. It's happening. So we even took your suitcase with us to Vegas. And then we had to bring your suitcase back from Vegas to you. So this brings us up to the experiment, the Millionaire Method. So you didn't end up coming to Vegas. And then a few weeks after, I joined Russell Brunson's Inner Circle and I was going to Boise in America. And Alex, my husband, is like, why don't you take Gemma? Because I was just going to go by myself, but I didn't really want to go by myself. I was like, I feel a bit awkward. He's like, take Gemma. I was like, yeah. I was like, did I pay for your flights? Or did you pay for them flights?
I think I paid for my
Oh,
flights.
you paid for flights, did you? I got the accommodation.
You got accommodation, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh no, I did pay for your flights. On that one, didn't I?
No, because I paid because I had a client and I was like, I can pay half of it now. You upgraded me on business. Did you get me business class on the way back?
No, what was it? Did I not? No, I did pay for your flights.
You paid for my flights. I bought the ticket.
Yeah,
my admission ticket.
Yes. Which ticket did you buy?
Don't know because I just got paid. I remember saying I can put 750 now. I'll pay this.
No, that was for America. So I paid for your.
Oh, that was Vegas.
I'd paid for your flights for Vegas. Had I?
I paid my flight for Vegas so
and I paid for your flights for America.
Yeah,
sorry, yeah. So I bought your flights for, for Boise. I was like, sorry, Gemma, I've already booked mine. I'm business class. You're okay in economy. We'll share the story though, the last time we went. Anyway, so you end up coming to Boise and then you're in this Inner Circle and it was just unbelievable, wasn't it? You started to and we were going to do stuff, which we're still doing now, but the directions changed where we're doing stuff now to help all the kids, right? So we've come back and then recently we went to Boise a few weeks ago and this, I think, was the absolute turning point for both of us. Do you want to share? Yeah, do you want to share kind of the realizations that you had in Boise? Of just what's possible for you.
Of what's possible. The thing is, I've always known, I've always said to you something big was going to happen for me and you, for the way we've met, for the way like you was. I feel like that you was exactly what I was praying for at that time. But you didn't, you didn't even know. You didn't even know. Do you know what I mean?
And maybe I could be what you're praying for right now too, listeners. I'm joking.
But I swear to God you was. You didn't even know. And at the time you didn't even, there was no special treatment or anything. You were just I just felt a connection with you. And you was like, you need to go home and do lots of self-love, like lots of this stuff. And you didn't even mention belief coding to me till about 6 months
after,
yeah. So the America thing, like it was definitely meant to be why I didn't go to Vegas because I'd never gone to Boise.
Because you were supposed to come to Boise, yeah. And when we came to Boise, so like we went in April and then we went again a few weeks ago and like, so I had massive insecurities of being like, oh, what if like people that don't like me? What if I don't fit in? What if I've got nothing to bring to the table? And Gemma's like, are you kidding? I bloody love you. What are you on about? Look at that you are. I'm thinking, oh my God, thanks. I was like, Gem, come with me again. Give me a little ego boost. But we came back and like literally that for me totally expanded my mind. So my goal in the next year is to do 10 million. So like literally I'm working towards it. The people in the inner circle, they're literally allowing me to see so much bigger than I am. So we've gone to Boise. We're stayed with people in the inner circle. We've had like just the most amazing conversations to do with people, to do what we're capable of. Comes back from Boise and had this mad download, and I'd cleared a lot of stuff. So I had big insecurities, even though I just had big insecurities about helping people, really. And I think when I came back from Boise, this download came of, you need to help Gemma make 1 million. Like, help Gemma make 1 million. And I was like, what the? And usually with anything like this, I would have felt that fear, that pressure, that what if I let her down? What if I can't do it? What if all of this? But then I felt just so excited. So I'm ringing you. And I was like, Gemma, do you want me to help you make 1 million in the next 6 to 12 months?
Bizarre conversation. I was like, what? Do you want to make £1 million in the next how does it feel if I say you can make £1 million in the I was just like, what are you going on about? Do you want to do it? And I was like, well, what do you think? Let's grow.
But this is the crazy thing. So 20 minutes after that conversation, I had called my masters, and then the message came in, document it. So I was like, masters, I'm not going to teach you anything I'm going to teach you, but how do you guys want to shadow what me and Gemma are doing, help and make 1 million? And the truth is, right, we actually don't know what is actually going to happen. I feel like I know it's going to happen, but I actually don't know.
I'm so excited.
Excited.
I know something big's going to happen. The thing is, what you've always said, if I can do it, anyone can do it. But there's things now coming up for me that, you know.
Yeah. So going into this then, so I think what's really, really important as well, why do you want to make 1 million? And I think and feel the reason why this download came for me to work with you is because you have a mission, which now I'm becoming part of, a shared mission, I'm getting really emotional again, and I've seen this in my visions, to help all of the kids that went through what you went through. So your mission is literally, these kids that are just put to the side, and they believe that they're unworthy. They believe that I'm going to let you tell the story because I feel like I can't.
No, it's so true. Like, and I've known that from a very, very early age that I was always going to come back and work with kids because there isn't that kind of support. Like, when I did the profound belief coding, for me, that was just a massive, everything else that I did, like the breath work and the meditations and things like that, it was very new to me. But the belief coding, when I learned to self-facilitate, so I didn't have to talk to anyone. I didn't have to, because it was, some of the stuff's horrendous. But to be able to do it on my own, on myself, was like, it was the hardest 6 months of my life. I was literally on the kitchen floor for most of them 6 months. Like, I went through the darkest, deepest, like, heaviest stuff. But it completely turned my life around. And I was like, I knew that my mission, and like you said, there's no way that you can go through all of that and survive without it being for a reason.
I think that's with everything as well, isn't it? Like, I'm a big believer in whatever painful experiences we go through then end up to be a purpose. Like, there has to be a purpose to the pain, because otherwise the pain is pointless.
There's so many children, though, in the care system that, through no fault of their own, have got the abandonment issue. I didn't know what any of them things was. That had been until I was 30 years old. That's my whole life, was just consumed with all these thoughts and feelings that something was wrong with me.
How different do you think your life would have been if you would have had somebody like you at 16 with these tools that you've got now?
Oh my God. I feel like my life, what I'm going to live now, 40 years have been a struggle. I feel like what I'm going to live now is how I should have always lived. It's like I feel a brand new rebirth.
And you've only just been able to start to feel joy 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
That feeling of joy.
That was so bizarre.
Tell us.
My friend Mara was like, she was doing belief coding. We was facilitating on each other, ready for our accreditation. And I got this, I told you about this feeling. I'm getting it all
I'm getting
lately.
that feeling now, this like feeling of like joy, this rush and...
rush and stuff, yeah. So I laid on my bed and I said to Mara, I'm not feeling right. I said, I don't know what it is. I said, I don't feel down, but I have to keep lying down. So I'm getting this sensation rushing like pins and needles all over my body. And she went, that, dear, is happiness. And I just broke down in absolute hysterics because I was like, I've never felt happiness. I'd never felt happiness. It was so bizarre. And I was like, wow, is this what it feels like? Even when I had Daisy, I was petrified because I freaking thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
How am I going to bring a child into the world? I'm freaking
And you are
nuts.
such an amazing mom. So with this, this is again, I think the download of you doing $1 million in the next 6 to 12 months is going to happen, because it has to. And also, like, there is a deep certainty in me that it is going to happen. But I think the reason why we wanted to do this, and I think the reason why we want to document it, is because this will help so many people. Because a lot of the time, imagine being 16 and just going through all that, and you're going to feel that you've got no future. Whereas if we can help children at that age, and you need cash flow to be able to help children at that age, so this is why I think it's much bigger than us. Like,
That's
I do
what I
feel
mean.
it
It's
is.
not £1 million going in my pocket. I feel like it's £1 million for the mission.
It is $1 million mission. Let's change it. Multi-million pound mission.
But
Okay, let's do a B. Multi-billion pound.
I felt like Dr. Evelyn. £1 billion. No, I feel like it's £1 million for it's the mission.
I think it's the mission. I think the mission just began. So from everything you've been through, and from somebody who's listening to this and they're going through like what they believe is the depths of hell, like, what have you learned from your life experiences to where you are now?
Oh my God. Like, if this is what I'm saying, if I can go through that and come out the other end and succeed and do well, like anyone can, like, there's no way that change is possible for everyone. And I want people to see that. I think we need to go probably more into, I've only touching base on a few sections of my life, really, but the whole of like my beliefs. And when I first started doing the belief coding, Jesus Christ, like, it was, when I say heavy, I've got videos. I mean, we'll probably show the videos during this mission when I dare, because it was horrendous. But I think I was always knew in the back of my mind that I would show them for someone to help someone else. Wow. Because you're not just healing you're healing your family. I had to understand. So I studied mental health, studied mental health in children, and then studied mental health on its own to understand my mum and understand where there's so much more than me just doing a little bit I've had to heal. It felt like healing my family, but belief coding helped me do that. Wow. It's like bring my mum in and talk to her. It was just unbelievable, but it was working for me.
So this is the thing, right? So for anybody who's going to join this, the mission, like, we're documenting everything. So next week we're going to talk about the beliefs that Gem had. The week after we're going to talk about the session, and then the fourth week we're going to go into the actual strategy. We will touch on a bit of strategy, but if you're here and you can resonate with any of that story, or even if you're here and you want to understand how you can earn $1 million in the next 6 to 12 months, tune in every single week, because the premise of this, the foundation of this, is you need to understand why you wouldn't earn $1 million first. And the reasons why you wouldn't do it is because of your past experiences, because of the beliefs that were created from those past experiences, and what the million is attached to. So the first thing, whenever you're earning any large amounts of money, or whenever you're going after a big goal, the goal has to feel safe for you and your subconscious. What we've discovered is the goal was definitely not safe for you to hit $1 million. So every time you would go and try and make decent money, you would sabotage it because it wasn't safe for you to have that. We're going to go into that. I mean, some of your beliefs were,
I'm a dosser.
What else is there?
Embarrassing.
I'm embarrassing.
People are going to feel sorry for me, or what's something like that, weren't it?
So you had a belief that people would only think that I'm doing this because I felt sorry for you. Yeah. Which is crazy. So again, if you think about that, the emotional attachment to that. But what I do want for anybody listening to this, bloody join the journey. Like, join the journey. So what I want you guys to do is look through your past, and even if you've had nothing traumatic happen or nothing deep, what pain have you been through that can become a purpose that you can help to serve others? Or if you're not into the service-based business and you want to understand more of the strategy side, you also need to understand the belief side to make sure that you're in total alignment to the goal that you're trying to reach. So what would you suggest our listeners do, like, if they want to make the $1 million in the next 6 to 12 months with us? Like,
this is like everything that we're showcasing is from total scratch. Like, I've never done anything like this.
I've never done that. I've never coached anyone to make $1 million before.
Exactly. So just follow it step by step. I've already had my phones blowing up all the time. I've just follow it step by step because we are literally documenting it all. Like,
I mean, it may happen, it may not happen. I feel like it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Do you know what? It's not going to be £1 million cash in my pocket. I think there's going to be more. There's going to be so many opportunities. There's going to be people wanting to give things. I just can feel this is a mission that's completely far bigger than what we could have ever imagined, Jess.
I do know that.
And the fact that you've got the download and the fact that I've always said to you, we're going to do something
Oh my God, the
big.
download. Jesus Christ. Let's talk about when you got the download and then we're going to finish on that episode. So basically, right, Gem was in a, can I mention about the relationship?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Gem's recently been in a relationship and she had to make the decision to just cut the relationship off just because it wasn't great. And, you know, like both on your healing journeys. So, you know, this guy, great guy, but unfortunately just... Unfortunately, it's not worked out.
I mean, it was a manifestation. I'd asked for everything that I wanted in a man I got, but I said someone on a healing journey and he was at the very beginning of it.
Yeah, whereas, So anyway, so Gem's made the decision just to end that relationship. But energetically, and again, next week we're going to go into the energetics of money, the energetics of wealth, you know, creating a wealth thermostat for your mindset, your belief systems. But as soon as Gem ended the relationship, like literally, you'd ended the relationship, you'd gone into a meditation. As soon as she's come out of the meditation, that's saying, Gem. So I would have had the download within the half an hour she was in the meditation after she's energetically cut the guy off that she was in a relationship with. So again, this is why I think this download, it is absolutely crazy. And also there's no fear here. Like there's a little bit of insecurity thinking, can we actually do it? But I think that's my ego getting in the way because my heart and my gut is like, we're doing it. Like, it's not even can we, it's we're in the midst of doing it. Do you get me?
I get you.
Do you get me, girl?
I get you, girl.
It's a raining Monday. Okay, anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Next week, we're going to be talking about the energetic money, going into the beliefs. We will touch on about a little bit of strategy because what I've got Gem to do, what we've been getting Gem to do is basically go over what is her offering, what is the thing that she is going to put out into the world that is going to create money, serve more people. That's it. Anything to add?
No, get excited.
Get excited. And as always, this episode has been sponsored by Shameless Plug Belief Coding. If you want to know more of my story, Gemma's story, or belief coding, bloody well follow us. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.